Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 8 at Laurel on Saturday. 3 stakes races on the card. This is part of the late pick 5 sequence, a 50-cent minimum wager with a 12% takeout. Here's the field for the James F. Lewis Stakes. We're going 3/4 of a mile for 2-year-olds, and Cal Lynch has the horse to beat in the filly division, the Smart Halo with the speedy Dissolute. Recruiter is pretty fast as well. He's 2 for 2, and both of his figs qualify as the fastest that any of these horses have ever run.
Yeah, exactly. He's the horse to beat just based on his first 2 starts and the figures that he earned in those races. I felt like maybe this race was a little bit closer, Dan, but I have no argument with Recruiter being the horse to beat.
Now let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. We know Recruiter is fast. He's going. The question is, how fast does he have to go? He didn't seemingly have to go very fast last time out. First quarter, 22 and 4 in a 5.5 furlong race. In here, you've got Honeyquist, a horse directly to his outside that is quick, and Timeform US believes the pace will be fast.
Yeah, I think I can see this pace getting fast. I won't be surprised when Recruiter is fastest early in this race, but the horse to his outside, Honeyquist, has shown speed in both of his starts. Where is Mike, the number 4, who has run twice at 4.5 and has opened clear leads immediately in those races? He looks fast to me. This pace could heat up.
Heldish is the number 1, and you can tell he's slowly learning how to come from off the pace, and that could be a great advantage for this son of Great Notion, who happens to be a super wet track stallion, and we are expecting some wet weather, at least on Friday, at Laurel Park. Let's watch Heldish's last race. This horse has done nothing wrong. 4 starts, never out of the exacta. In this race, the Maryland Million Nursery, Johnny Z from Albany took control at the start, got the jump on them turning into the stretch. Heldish never stops trying.
Yeah, this has been the case in each of his last 2 starts, actually. The winners of both of those races got to the front, and all Heldish could do was chase, but he does so pretty gamely. I thought he ran well in each of those races despite not winning. And I know that it's 3 times in a row now that he's settled for second, Dan, but he's been facing some pretty good horses. I think he fits really well here.
Talked to his trainer, Brittany Russell, on Thursday morning. She's happy with the inside post. She likes how this horse has settled in behind horses in some of his recent races and has come on finishing and thinks the pace will be fast. The 2 is Coffee with Chris. This one has hit the board in his last 2 races. Both of those races came when he was entered for sale. Last time out for $40,000, he finished directly behind a horse that would come back to run second, but in a 2-life race at Penn National with a 49 buyer. He needs a buyer boost.
Yeah, it feels like they're just taking a shot here, Dan, stepping him up into a stakes race. He's actually never finished first in a race. He got the maiden win from the Stewards back in May. There's just not a race on his page right now that makes him that much of a contender.
Up next is the 3, Tis No Clown. He was dismissed at over 100 to 1 in the Maryland Million Nursery race you just saw, a race where Heldish was 7 to 2 and finished second. Tis No Clown showed brief speed. He tired. He's another one that needs drastic improvement.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 wins so far came when he was able to make the early lead, or the 2 times he finished first, I should say. He's not making the lead in here, and he's going to have to do a lot better than he did last time.
The only Kentucky bred in the race is the 4, Where Is Mike? And where's Mike been? He's been at Charlestown. And as we turn into the stretch, Where Is Mike? He's on the lead, as he's been at every call in either one of his 2 starts. This is an allowance race at Charlestown. He was too good for this field, going a short 4.5 furlongs. So now he's got to stretch out with some tough speeds to his outside.
Yeah, that's what I like least about him. He's actually looked pretty good to me winning both of his starts, Dan, but they kept him at 4.5 for his second start. Now they're going to stretch him out to 6 against some better horses here. And I think that's a pretty tall order for this horse.
Riccio is up next for the very strong jockey-trainer combination of Xavier Perez and Jerry Robb. Riccio's turning back in distance, and the plan, Robb told me Thursday morning, is take back, make 1 run, hope the pace is fast. I think this horse had some traffic issues, and maybe it was a little bit green 2 and 3 starts back, and that first state dash, sort of in between horses, all of a sudden drops out to last and re-rallies. And last time out, similar situations, steadied entering the turn, ended up widest, ran on a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd too, especially the race 2 starts back where he was right up close and then it looked like maybe he wasn't going to run at all. And then through the stretch, he started running again. I'm not sure what happened there, but certainly those 2 races give him a real chance in here, especially if the pace is fast. The only thing that I don't like about this horse, Dan, and I do think he's a major player in here, he doesn't, even when he's making up ground in the stretch, he doesn't really finish that hard to me. He's just more of a grinding kind of horse. And I hate playing closers that run like that.
And Jerry Robb did caution me when I talked to him Thursday. He is very anxious about running this horse without Lasix. He doesn't like to do so. You can go in your formulator PPs. He's something like 1 for 22 Lasix off. But this horse does seem to like a wet track and has one sprinting. Recruiter, he's the horse of the hour right now. He's 2 for 2 in his career. He handled Laurel sloppy track last time out, gone October the 2nd. He went to the lead. That's a very familiar face chasing him. Johnny Z from Albany. We saw him come back and beat Heldish in the nursery with an 84 buyer. Recruiter got a nice easy first quarter and then went on with it. He's a horse with a lot of promise.
Yeah, he is. This is a good performance here, and he handles the wet track, I suppose, which could be key. I liked this performance, even though his figure declined a little bit. Dan, I actually liked it better than his win first time out, that debut win. Boy, he was getting a little tired at the end of that race. His rider really had to get after him to make sure he held on.
Honeyquist completes this field. Well-bred son of Nyquist at a grade 2 place. Honey Chal. This horse was a debut winner going that short sprint at Charlestown. They stretched him out around 2 turns, going 6.5 furlongs in this race. This is a race for West Virginia bred 2-year-olds. Honeyquist showed speed in here. He's just going to get run down late as the favorite. I think turning back to 1 turn helps. It's just a question of whether he's a speed crazy 2-year-old that is going to have to go after Recruiter, or if he can sit outside in a potentially comfortable spot.
I'm worried about that too. And ultimately, Dan, I know that all the things he had working against him last time, stretching out a quarter of a mile and around 2 turns and all that stuff, still didn't really care for that loss that much. I mean, it seemed to me like a race. If he was really good, he probably wins there after getting control of that pace. I don't know. I liked his debut quite a bit. Maybe he can rebound.
Top pick time for the James F. Lewis III Stakes, race number 8 at Laurel Park on Saturday. Heldish is where Mike's going. I think the trip is going to be there for you, Mike, if he can save ground behind a solid enough pace. This horse has shown some moxie in the stretch and is very competitive on the figs.
Yeah, that's what I like about him. He has the races that make him a contender already. I like his running style for this kind of race. And he's coming out, I think, facing horses in his last 2 starts that would fit very well in a race like this.
I'm hoping this pace really heats up. I'm talking about let's have Recruiter, Honeyquist, and where is Mike go at it early and maybe set things up for the turnback Riccio, who, as Mike mentioned, hasn't been finishing off his races. I still think he's a little bit green, but these 2-year-olds, as we know, they improve mentally as well as physically from start to start. I'm expecting him to run a little bit better in the stretch. Mike's going Heldish. I'm going Riccio. It's the James F. Lewis III Stakes for 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs at Laurel on Saturday. Good luck.